Star Citizen Alpha 3.18.1 and 3.18.2 appear to both be having a full wipe now, rather than just a partial wipe that 3.18.1 was supposed to have. So what's happened there? Well, originally, Cloud Imperium said, got a load of problems with 3.18. We're making this 3.18.1 patch, and once that's deployed, we'll likely have to have a partial wipe, wiping items, but keeping reputation and Alpha UEC earned. However, various exploits were found for sort of easily earning Alpha UEC, and fixing the game and the problems with it may just require a full wipe. So Cloud Imperium Games put out a post. Star Citizen Alpha 3.18 upcoming patches. We want to provide a quick update on what to expect in the upcoming releases. Our initial goal was to avoid the need to wipe the database for the upcoming point patches. However, due to the current state of Alpha 3.18's database and numerous hotfixes we've implemented since 3.18 went live, more than 50, we've concluded that a couple of full wipes, Alpha UEC, items, and reputation will be necessary to further improve and stabilize the service. For those interested in what's going on under the hood, alongside a myriad of changes that shook up our database, we've uncovered an issue with the identity service related to player IDs, which was revealed through the error 40,014 that some of you may be encountering. While we've resolved this issue and many others like it, we'll still require a wipe to get all of our cogs and wheels back in the right place. For both Alpha 3.18.1 and 3.18.2, we will perform these wipes alongside a hearty list of improvements and optimizations, which will hopefully make your gaming experience much smoother. So, a lot of people saying, if there is a wipe with both patches, and 3.18.2 should be released pretty soon after 3.18.1, why do we need a 3.18.1 at all then? So really, the reason they want to release 3.18.1 to live is to test it at scale and get something playable on the live servers to a larger amount of people. 3.18 was actually pretty functional on the PTU servers, but broke when it went to the live servers, or at least broke at an epic scale. Also, if you're one of those people that 3.18 is largely unplayable for still, then you're just going to be happy to get anything that allows you to improve accessibility, stability, and playability, even if it's just for a week, and then there's the next patch. Yeah, so if you're in that sort of state, just do it. Bam, get it on the servers. That said, I have a much more PTU Evo sort of geared mindset, so I'm much happier just to test the new stuff in Star Citizen without it persisting between patches. A lot of people saying, is there any point in playing at all if it's just going to be wiped? But that mindset at scale would mean maybe you shouldn't play Star Citizen at all until a full release in a few years' time. I feel that people in the comments will be saying that I'm over-optimistic that Star Citizen will be released in a few years' time. Fair point. But at scale, everything's pointless due to the heat death of the universe. We did know as well that Cloud Imperium were going to have to address some of these exploits that were going around to sort of like quadruple the amount of money you could make from a load of ore and refining and stuff like that, and buying stuff, very small amounts of things, which would then give you 1 SCU of that thing. I don't like actively talking about exploits beyond just news, because I don't want to overly publicize something in like a guide fashion of how to break the game, because that just makes full wipes much more likely, and Alpha UBC wipes, which no one really wants, or at least very few people want. The Alpha 3.18.2 PTU is now the only patch on the PT at the moment. It's open PTU. 3.18.1 is no longer there. There isn't a confirmed release date for either of these patches, but 3.18.1 should be imminent. There are also tests for Xenothreat and Jumptown dynamic events that Cloud Imperium appear to be running on the 3.18.2 servers every so often, so jump into that. As I said, it's open PTU. With that in mind, we've also had a new Star Citizen Alpha 3.18.2 PTU patch, so let's go through the updates in the latest one. Density Manager optimizations. They've updated the Density Manager values to be more aggressive for removing unneeded entities in the persistent universe to improve server and client performance. Obviously, we knew that persistent entity streaming was going to be something they need to dial in over an amount of time, and I think they were overly optimistic in the short term of how many entities they would allow in a given area. But I think server meshing and some other tech that they've got coming down the pipeline will actually allow for these to then become more aggressive again, as in having more entities in an area in a lot more sort of a lot denser amount of entities. They've made further entitlement processing improvements. They've updated the login queue time display. There's a ton of bug fixes as well. Let's have a read of the bugs that they have fixed. The Argo Raft cargo not being removed after selling it, and it could be sold repeatedly. There were huge latency and lag spikes for interactions which have been solved. Loot streaming issues at Korea. Melting and upgrading ships while a player was logged in a bed would put that player in a bad state of 30k can't log in. There was rubber banding during Xenothreat gameplay. The Visit Horizon commercial locked up the client. When a user crashed whilst interacting with a loot box, it would become unavailable to other players. A grey box mannequin could be seen floating over the lake located at outskirts of derelict outposts. I thought that was just a spooky ghost. The player's model will briefly vanish when the player is walking on top of the end section of the Constellation derelict in third-person view. Not all cargo boxes are spawning in for players to retrieve them for the Zeta Pronalate salvage claim missions. Combat assist missions wouldn't progress properly after the enemy ship's destroyed. One of the big money exploits, players were able to refine mined materials twice using 2 separate refining kiosks and earn twice as much money on one load, basically. Players were unable to scan mining deposits. New Deal and Vantage rental kiosks were missing. A non-owner player could log out in the prisoner seat of the Hawk, and then you couldn't retrieve it correctly after an insurance claim. They fixed 2 client and 6 server crashes as well. That's a lot of fixes, and Cloud Imperium are still trying to plug other holes and further increase stability too. I'm hoping that Alpha 3.18.1 sort of turns up in the next few days and gets the game in a much more stable and playable state, fun state, and then we got that 3.18.2 patch within the next sort of couple of weeks, and that will really stabilize and push that gameplay to what we were expecting with 3.18 Live's build. And this is also all in preparation for Fleet Week, sort of 20th of May is when we're expecting it. 3.19 should be released at the same time, which is functionally a 3.18.x patch because it's built on the same code base. It didn't technically branch off into its own branch, so it's 3.19 in name only. But anyway, I'm really interested to know what you think. Are you playing 3.18.2 on the OpenPT? What do you think of that build? Have you tried any of the dynamic events in that build as well? What have you thought of Xenothreat? What have you thought of Jumptown? Do you think it's a right call to have a full wipe with 3.18.1 and 3.18.2? Can you not sort of work out why they need to wipe for both? I actually think it's just because they want to have nice clear databases for 3.18.2, and obviously they are working on both patches in unison. I'm sort of interested to know how you think CIG should have handled this. Did they handle it well? Whatever your thoughts though, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. The Tobii Eye Tracker 5 is on sale until the 19th of April. This gives you native high-precision head and eye tracking in Star Citizen. Very cool for general immersion, for combat both in ship or on foot. They are absolutely fantastic pieces of kit, and both Zin and I have one. Use the links below to grab one for 15% off or to find out more. Little Nord Riding Hood was on her way to Grandma's house. Upon arriving at her house, she called, "Grandma, are you home?" "Yes, dear. I'm on my laptop in bed." Upon seeing her grandma, she exclaimed, "Oh, Grandma, what long fingers you have." "Oh, the better to browse the internet, my dear." "Oh, Grandma, what powerful VPN protection you have." "Oh, the better to browse safely, my dear." "Oh, Grandma, what big eyes you have." "Oh, the better to enjoy my greater access to the sites I want to visit, my dear." "But seriously, get NordVPN or I will eat you." The moral of this story is that there are some great deals on NordVPN, and using it can improve your internet privacy, safety, and give you more access to the content you want to see. Get it from the links below. Every month we have a ship giveaway for April 2023. It's for a Drake Vulture, the light salvage ship. This will enable you to take to the stars, find wrecks and strip them, as well as craft some useful items with its onboard dispensary. It comes with lifetime insurance and a Star Citizen game package as well. All you need to get into the game, and all you have to do to be in for a chance of winning that, is comment on any of my videos made during April. Also, please bear in mind that there are scammers about in YouTube. If you see in the comments below someone trying to get you to go onto Telegram, or someone not using my main account, which is the account I'm making videos on now, then they are a scammer pretending to be me or someone else, and just be safe on YouTubes. If you would like to further support the channel, please consider subscribing. You can become a Patreon, you can use the YouTube join button as well. That goes an extra mile to help support us and enables us to produce Star Citizen content every day. And that's down to you guys helping support us, so genuinely, thank you from the bottom of my little BoredGamer heart.